Really exciting. I think we've had a really good summer starting on June the 4th. We've really grown, I think, as a football team this offseason. And since August 3rd, I guess, I think it's 21 practices now and like 19 walkthroughs. And ready to get started with game week. Started that this morning. We're excited. We're excited to get into the game week mode. Probably consistency. Obviously, knowledge of what we do. He probably has a bigger knowledge because he's actually had game reps in what we do. I think Willie's grown from really from January to this point today as not only a football player but as a person. I think leadership-wise, he's taken some tremendous strides. Somebody's phone's ringing. I'll hit remind me for you. And I think he's taken some steps to where our football team really trusts him in that leadership role.
Willie had a lot of success in high school at Silsby.
Yeah.
Not just in football, but basketball, baseball as well.
Track.
So in terms of his confidence, I think of all these successful quarterbacks and they have an uncommon degree of confidence in themselves. Does Willie have some of that?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he's gaining more of that every day. I think the more game reps that he has, the more that confidence will come out. The one thing you can't do, he's really talented. He has a lot of physical skills. For a quarterback that has confidence and a lot of physical skills, you can't say I'm going to win the game by myself. And that's what we can't have out of Willie. And that'll be the confidence he has to have in his other teammates to help him make plays. And if we can get that done with Willie and the rest of that offense this early part of the season, I think you'll see the confidence in him grow as the season goes on. Well, I think every day he's come to work. I think he's been a great student of the game. And again, I attribute some of that to Coach Elliott, bringing his knowledge of the quarterback position and our offense back into what we do. I think that's helped Willie. I think it's helped all of the quarterbacks, all three of the quarterbacks. But I think him just the little pieces of the game, the attention to detail in the game, as a quarterback, I think he's really grown in that way.
How long have you known personally that he's the starter? Publicly it was announced today. How long have you decided that he's the starter?
Today?
You didn't think about it a week or two ago?
No, not really. Really, maybe Sunday night.
Coach, this will be your third starting quarterback in 3 years. You start the season over, but the previous two, you didn't have a chance to develop as a senior.
Right.
How excited are you to develop Willie Jones and two quarterbacks behind him in Vic and Gibson?
Yeah, I'm really excited the fact that Willie's a sophomore with a lot of talent, with a tremendous upside, and then have two quarterbacks behind him with that same upside. I think we'll always be in a battle at quarterback, which is good. I think iron sharpens iron. So I think every day Willie goes to work, he knows there's a guy behind him nipping at his heels. And the same thing for the second guy and the third guy. They know somebody's nipping at their heels. So it really helps to have youth and Willie's situation, a little bit of experience, not a lot, but a little bit, and to grow those guys. And the problems that we may have a year from now may be really good problems. And I hope we have those problems.
The nature of football, everybody wants to talk quarterback, evident by the way we've been asking questions.
Right.
So when you mentioned the competition that they have with one another for that starting job, or in Gibson's case now, for the backup job.
Yeah.
What about the competition at the other positions that you're ready to go with?
Yeah, I think we've had tremendous competition at a lot of positions. A lot of competition at receiver. I think it's been a great camp. I think we've gotten better at receiver because of that competition. There's a number of guys, there's some guys that have gotten nicked up doing camp that have said, I got to hurry up and get back or I'm going to lose my spot, which that's what you want. It's been the same thing a little bit in the secondary this camp. It's been the same thing in the offensive line this camp. So we've had more competition this training camp than any point in time since I've been here. And to me, when you start building competition, that means your team has a chance to improve and get better in practice.
Do you know who your starting 22 are?
No, there's still a couple spots. There really are. I won't release a depth chart probably until Wednesday. Yeah, before we know exactly who's going to be, because we don't know in some spots. Probably as healthy as we have since I've been here. Yeah, probably as healthy as we have. We only have a couple guys that, are questionable, but really nobody in our starting lineup right now is not ready to go play.
With fall camp wrapped up, how did this camp compare to the previous two?
Best we've had. No question, no doubt about it. No doubt about the daily practices and the competition level at practice. No doubt about just the focus in meetings. The two previous camps, there's always been something to set us back with off the field something. Just because of guys being, not bought into what we need to be bought in. We didn't have that at all this camp. We probably grew closer this camp than maybe at any camp I've ever been a part of. It's been a lot of fun to be around these guys this camp.
At any school?
At any school, no question. No question. We've developed some guys that maybe we didn't expect to be ready to help us. I think that's been the positive. There's some guys that have gotten a little nicked up that haven't had enough snaps that we like to see their development grow, more. It'll happen here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but I think just the fact that there's been some guys show up that are better than they were last spring and better than they were this summer has really helped us in the offensive line.
Rutgers, they're starting two freshmen at quarterback. You know much about them?
Well, it's amazing. This will be my, I think, 4th time playing Rutgers. And I told our team I'm 3-0 against them. North Carolina and Texas. 2 times. Actually, I'm sorry. 3 times at North Carolina. 3 times at North Carolina. Chris Ash took my place at Ohio State. When I left to go be the head coach of James Madison, Chris came in. I know Chris, well. Chris hired Zach Core away from me when I was taking this job to be the running back coach at Rutgers. He also hired Drew Maringer, who Drew is now at Texas, away from me when he got the job at Rutgers. I know Chris is a defensive guy. I know they're going to be their talent level right now in the secondary is really good. He's done a really good job in the secondary. They have some depth issues up front in the defensive line. They're going to be big and physical in the offensive line. They're going to use a lot of what we call 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receiver sets. They'll be not as much of a spread like we are. They're going to be a little bit more conventional, try to run the ball. With a young quarterback, you have to take care of that young quarterback by being able to run the football. So I'm sure they're going to be, we expect run, play, action, pass to take shots down the field, that kind of stuff with a young quarterback. But try to protect them. Obviously, they think a lot of the freshman to name him the starter at a Power 5 Big Ten school.
Having Coach Core on staff and having a little bit of familiarity personnel with Rutgers, does that give you any advantages?
I don't know if it gives us any advantages. I just got off the Sun Belt Conference call. I told those guys, I said, this is a great opportunity for us to go play against somebody else. The way I look at this game is we want to go win. We want to go beat a Big Ten school. We love to go. Our first goal on our deal is win opener. Okay, we love to go win the opener. My goal is to find out a lot more about our team next Saturday at 11 a.m. And hopefully by 2:30 or so, 3 o'clock, we know a little bit more about our team. We're healthy, and we know a lot more about our football team as we move closer to our conference schedule. So that, to me, is the most important thing. I'm excited just to go watch our team play. Really am. It's as good a feeling on a Monday of game week as I've had since I've been here. We got a game plan to master here in the next, 3 or 4 days. So we got to continue to get better in the game plan, both offensively, defensively, and special teams. We've changed our format of how we practice. We're practicing in the AM, so it's new for everybody. This is the first time as a coach, other than the NFL, that I've ever practiced in the morning. So this is new for me as well as it is for our players. And I really like it. I really, really like it. And I think our players are going to like it. So we've got to adapt to that schedule a little bit. Hopefully we've done that during camp a little bit. It's been able to help us. But we've got to learn the game plan. We've got to obviously master some things. We've got to know, top 2 or 3 things we got to stop on defense that Rutgers will give us. And then obviously we've got to do a good job of the top 3 or 4 things defensively Rutgers will give our offense. So that's, we're in Monday. Think of today as Sunday. Okay? Think of today as Sunday. We didn't practice yesterday. Today is Sunday to us. So we usually are off on Monday. So we're ahead of the game right now.
When did that change, switching from evening to morning? Was there
Yeah, 2 things. Probably the number one thing is for the first 2 years, we would, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we would lose about 20% of our football team because they had to go to class. They had night classes. They had afternoon classes. We'd have guys shuffling back and forth, coming from class and going to class on Tuesday and Thursday, your biggest work days of the week. So we'd have offensive linemen that would get 1 full practice during the week. It's not very good for a football team. So what we did the last 2 springs was to try it out in the spring. Do it in the morning and see how we liked it. One, the retention level, football-wise, getting them up in the morning, going straight to football, was unbelievable in the spring. So we said, you know what, we've done it 2 springs, let's do it in the fall. Now we've got all our classes from like 11 o'clock on in the afternoon. So our guys, we're done at 10 o'clock. We're done at 10 o'clock in the morning most mornings, 10:20 at the latest. So our guys can go be normal student athletes. And I wanted them to go be normal student athletes on campus. I think that was probably number 2. Go be normal student athlete on campus. Go to class, go eat on the yard a little bit with the normal students and all that, and then come back over here for dinner and eat and visit with their coaches and go to study hall and those type things. So I think it makes for an easier transition. It's so hard as a young student athlete to go to class and go sit in classes with some of the top students in the country, in your classes, and then come over here at 2:30 and, oh, by the way, I got to go 2.5 hours out there. We had guys coming in here, their knees would be wobbling at 2:30 because they've been in class all day. So we get them early. And hopefully they're ready to go academically after they leave us.
Coach, back to Rutgers. John McDonald's taken over.
Yeah.
He's got experience there at Rutgers. Texas State, Bobcats go against so much spread.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern stuff sprinkled in there. So going up against a pro style, I know that Coach McDonald's talked about, you mentioned using a lot of different formations.
Yeah.
A lot of motion, a lot of power run game inside of
Right.
stuff. So, and then they want to take their shots over.
Sure.
So what's going to be the approach without giving away the power?
Well, anytime you're playing a team that's going to motion and shift a bunch, you have to be really simple on defense and understanding people that motion and shift are usually doing that to win the dress about 4 or 5 plays. Okay, and again, I know this, having worked with coaches that shift and motion a whole lot in the NFL and in college football, is there's usually window dressing to run 4 or 5 plays. To have 4 or 5 run plays and maybe 3 or 4 play action passes off of that. So for us, what we've got to do is not be simple. I always say defensively, you got to stare all the motions and shifts down. You can't be running back and forth with the motions and shifts because you'll forget about what you're supposed to do. So we got to be really simple on defense, I think, and line up and be sound, protect the edges of our defense, leverage the football and tackle well, and not give up home run balls. That's really it. Don't give up the big plays, leverage your defense, and tackle well. You do those three things on defense against a power run team, you got a chance. Well, obviously, I think moving Jashawn Waddy to safety has really helped us. Smart football player, a good football player. He gives us that guy to the field that's athletic enough. You always want a really good athlete at that free safety position that's going to play the wide side of the field. And I think Jashawn gives us that. And having A.J. Crosby back for year two in that dog safety position. And Cordell Rogers had a really good camp for us. I think somebody said he had like 8 interceptions in camp this summer, which is an awful lot. He probably dropped another 8. But he had a really good camp. And I think J.T. Taylor's had a really good camp for us. So, feel good about those first 4 guys, and I feel good about the next group going in behind them. I think we're going to be younger, obviously, in the second group, but we're going to be longer and more talented in that second group than we've been. So we're more athletic in the secondary than any point in time since I've been here. We're more football smart in the secondary than at any point in time we've been back there.
You talked a lot about the 85 scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
And how you're preparing some good.
Yeah.
It seems like you're getting close to that pair.
Getting close.
You feel like you're as close as you've been?
Yeah, there's no question. There were again, year one, we didn't have one at a spot where we were having to move a tight end to tackle. That's where we were year one. Year two, we were playing with a lot of young guys, a lot of freshmen, and really didn't have any backups. There's piecemeal along the entire offensive line. At this point now, I feel like we've got more of a pair. We don't have a spare in all spots, but we're getting close to that pair. And even though the second piece of that pair is young, it should bode well for us as we move through the season and into next season.
Coach, everybody understands how important special teams are to you since the day you arrived. So going into 2018, how do you feel about your kicking game?
I feel good. I'm really, really anxious to see, our guys kick. I'm our punter, new punter, Mr. Stewart. I'm really anxious to watch. He can really hit the ball. When he hits it, he can hit it, and I'm anxious to watch him punt. I'm anxious to watch James and see if James has regained his confidence and gotten better. Really anxious to see that, and if we get a chance also to kick Chris Kessler, as some in PAT field goals, those situations, we'll give him an opportunity to do that. I'm really excited about our cover teams. I think we've got more depth in our cover teams. So I'm excited about that. Our return game should be better. We got more athletes to handle the ball back deep on kickoff return and punt return than we've had since we've been here. And I think we've got more guys that cherish what we call protect and cherish the football better than at any point in time we've been here. So I'm excited about our kicking game. We've got more, like I said, that pair and the spare has helped us more in that area, maybe than any other areas that have more depth to be able to put guys on special teams.
Coach, what you're kicking and returning kicks, how much of an adjustment has to be made now when you kick off?
A little bit. We've adjusted our kickoff return on where we line it with our deep guys, just because we want to see what teams are going to do early. It's made us be conscious of the entire back end of our kickoff return team, because if I'm going to take advantage of this new rule, I'm going to kick it not in the same spot every time. I'm going to try to find holes and spots in your return team to kick the ball to see if I can get the ball. I think it's made us be more conscious of that more than anything else. I know on our kickoff team, it's made us more conscious of being more aggressive and doing some things. We're still working on it, but we have a blueprint on what we want to do. We have an idea of the guys that we call it redshirt A, redshirt B. We have that plan in place. It's going to be a work in progress as we go. We'd like to use our non-conference schedule to kind of figure that out. Obviously, the first 2 weeks are important to that, and We get to UTSA, we'll probably do some of that also. So really the early part of the year gives us an opportunity with 3 games in our non-conference schedule to maybe find out about some young guys. So we're going to use those 3 games and, maybe more to find out about some of the young guys.